Okay, we're recording. Test. Pass so far. All right, go to Google Classroom. Today we're going to start the notes. We're going to do section 1 today. And the nice thing is the notes are on Google Classroom for you. So you don't have to write anything out today. All you got to do is watch. And then we'll do some examples together. It's going to be the same way for section 2. All right, where we're at here, let me close this up. Under chapter 1, we're going to click on this chapter 1 vocabulary. So go ahead and do that, open that up. And the reason is we're going to come back to this in a little bit. I'm going to take you through on the overhead and show you what you need to see up here on the overhead. Then we're going to do some examples together, where I'll switch to a different screen and you can stay on this one to kind of help you pick things up. No, you just got your baby. Let's do this first. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through like about 7 definitions. Chapter 1 is full of definitions. A whole bunch of them. We've got them all for you in this little spot right here. So you can come back to this anytime you need it. It's on Google Classroom anytime you want to look at it. Today we've got 7 from section 1. If you kind of scroll down here on yours, you see when the left-hand column turns from a 1 to a 2, that's when section 2 starts. So we've got quite a few chapter 1 definitions. We're going to go through those today, then I'm going to show you some examples, and we'll come up with the correct answers. Now, when we're in geometry, the definition is important, and then a lot of times there's a symbol that will go with the definition. So you also need to know that. And we kind of put it all for you into this little document right here. So our first definition is a point. See our point, it's a location. It has neither shape nor size. It's named using a single capital letter and represented by a small dot. So in the textbook or on a test or a quiz, if we want to show a point, we'll have a little dot there with a capital letter next to it. So here's the examples for the notation. This would be right here. This is read as point A. Points B, C, and D. All of these little things out here are points. So there's really not a symbol that goes with a point. When you come to a line, the next thing, a line does have a symbol. And our definition of line is made up of points that extend opposite directions without end. So you're going to put a bunch of these dots together, a bunch of these points together. They're going to extend infinitely in 2 directions. They never stop. That makes it a line. Now you'll notice, oops, what did I do? You'll notice for the symbol over here, we're going to use 2 letters to name the line. Those 2 letters are going to be 2 points that are on the line. Pick any 2 points on the line. And then the symbol is just a line with arrows on both ends. Those 2 arrows show that the line keeps going forever and extends infinitely. Okay, so here's a picture over here on the right. There's a line. So you get arrows on both ends, so it never stops. If you come back over to the definition, through any 2 points, there's going to be exactly 1 line. And we name the line using either a lowercase script letter or 2 points on the line. Typically, we'll use 2 points on the line. But over here in your picture, one way to name this line would be line BC. Points B and C are both on the line. And again, your symbol for a line is going to be the line with 2 arrows on it, arrows on each end. I could have also called it line CD because those 2 points are on the line. Here's this, the symbol for line CD. You could also call it line BD because points B and D are on the line. Let's get the symbol above it. And then the lowercase letters, sometimes next to the line, they'll have a lowercase letter. If they do that, then you got a shortcut way of doing it. You can call it line N. Those are your ways of naming the line. But just remember with a line, you're going to have 2 points. Typically, you use 2 points to name the line. Any questions with the line? Okay, the next thing is a plane. A plane is going to be a flat surface with no thickness, and it extends infinitely in all directions. So if you're using this classroom as an example, you can think of the ceiling. The ceiling is a flat surface. If that thing extended in all directions infinitely and never stopped, that would be a plane. So just think of a plane as a flat surface. In a picture on a piece of paper, obviously you can't draw something that's never gonna end. So for on a picture on a piece of paper, we'll just put a four-sided figure. We usually color it in. And then if you come back over here to the definitions, there's exactly one plane through any 3 points that are not on the same line. Hi, Mr. Birdwell.
Remain seated.
And to name a plane, we're going to use 3 letters. Okay, any 3 letters on the plane, or there's sometimes they're going to put a capital letter in a corner. Like here, you've got a capital K. Okay, so if you come over here to your options here, your ways of naming the plane. One way to name this plane, you've got points B, C, and D on there. Those 3 points do not form a straight line. So you can name this plane B, C, D like we have here. Or you've got the capital K in the corner, so we just call it plane K. There's your 2 ways to name a plane, which is a flat surface. All right, questions with the plane? Okay. Got 4 more. Well, actually, got some more pictures with the plane. So if we just have one plane, we'll just draw a flat surface like this. But sometimes in the picture, you're going to have more than one plane. Here's an example of that. If you look at this picture on the right, this picture actually has 5 planes. So we've got this plane ACE, which is this little triangle up front. That's one plane. We've got another triangle in the back, plane BDF. And then we got 3 planes that are kind of the sides. You got the bottom that the figure sits on. That's the plane that contains points C, D, E, and F down here on the bottom. We've got a plane on the side over here, which contains points A, E, F, J, B, and H. That's a plane on the side. And then you got a plane in the back, kind of the back side that contains points B, H, A, C, and D. So those are all the planes in the picture. Sometimes on your picture, you'll see some dotted lines. The dotted lines are when you're looking from the front of the picture, the dotted lines are in the back. You can't see them as you look at it from the front. But we draw the dotted lines in to make it 3-dimensional so you can see where those things are at. So when you're looking at a picture, if you see dotted lines, just remember they're in the back. That's in the back of the figure as you look at it from the front. So over here, we put it into words where those planes are at. Now, this can be the most difficult part of this whole section here, is kind of seeing how the picture works. So is there anybody struggling to see how the dotted lines give you things in the front and in the back? We're not seeing that. Okay. Next definition is collinear. If you break this word apart, the prefix co means 2 or more. Linear means line, straight line. Put that together, you have your definition. Collinear is points that lie on the same line. See, collinear, think they're on the same line. We have a picture over here. You've got points B, C, and D. They're all on the same line. Okay, that makes them collinear. Now, if they're not on the same line, if you can't draw a straight line through all 3 of them, then we call them non-collinear. So an example of points that are non-collinear would be points B, A, and D. So a way to think of this is, would it be possible to take a ruler and draw a straight line through points B, A, and D? Well, there's no way you could draw a straight line from B to A to D. You have to curve it, so it's not going to be a straight line. That makes them non-collinear. But if you can put a straight line through all 3 of them, they're collinear. If you can't put a straight line through them, that's non-collinear. All right, now we'll do a little logic here. If collinear means they lie on the same line, what do you think coplanar means? Linear is the same line. Same plane. There you go. Collinear are going to be on the same line. Coplanar are on the same plane. So if you come back to that picture we just looked at, we've got the 5 different planes on here. If you want to pick some things out that are on the same plane, things like A, B, J, and E are coplanar. Here's point A. Here's point B. Here's point J. Point E is down here in this corner. They're on this rectangular face. Kind of the front of that shape. They are coplanar because they're on the same plane. But if you have some points that aren't on the same plane, where you can't put a flat surface through all 4 of them, they would be non-coplanar. Example of that, A, B, C, and F. Here's point A up on top, here's point C, here's point D, and F is all the way over here. You could not put a flat surface that connected points A, C, D, and F together. There's no way to put the flat surface going through those. So they're non-coplanar. So again, if they are on the same plane, they're coplanar. If they're not on the same plane, not coplanar. All right, before we go ahead, any questions with collinear or full plane? Okay. Undefined terms, this one's not really that important. There are terms in geometry that are not formally defined. Things like point, line, and plane, I really don't have a formal definition. We kind of made a definition for those on this document here. But they're explained using examples and descriptions. So once again, not a real important definition there. We won't use that very often. But those terms are considered undefined. And then I think our last one, the last definition is intersection. Think of intersection as like a street. When two streets form an intersection, that's where they cross. Same thing in geometry. Intersection is where things cross. So in our pictures over here on the right, we've got two lines intersecting over here. The next picture, we have two planes intersecting. You've got this purple plane here, and you got this red plane. Purple plane's kind of going left to right, red plane's going up and down, those two intersect. And then down here in our picture, we'll have another intersection that we'll talk about. Now, here are the things to remember. When two lines intersect, they always intersect at a point. So here are your two lines. You got line M, you got line BC. Those two intersect at point C. Two lines will always intersect at a point. Let's see, two lines intersect at a point, two planes, come down here to the next one. When your two planes intersect, you've got this purple plane coming across, left to right, red plane's going straight up and down. When they come through each other, it forms a line right through here. And if you follow that line across, there's a little M next to it. Line M would be their intersection. So if two planes intersect, your answer is going to be a line. Last card here. Another way of looking at that exact same thing. We have two planes that intersect. Their intersection is going to be a line. The two planes we're looking at on this one are ABF. ABF is this front plane. And DCE is the bottom plane down here that contains those points DCE. The front and the bottom of this figure intersect all the way from point E through point F. So their intersection would be line EF. Any questions with that? Okay, now what we're going to do with this is we're going to switch over to something else, and we're going to give you pictures. And in the pictures, you're going to have to be able to pick out things like this. You're going to have to be able to use these different definitions. You're going to have to be able to use the correct symbols when we put this together. So we're going to show you that here in a second. Now, you on your computer, don't switch off from this this little document here. You're going to keep it right here, so you can kind of look back and see what you need to on here. What I'm going to do is go to Google Classroom and switch us to section 1.1 and 1.2 notes. We're going to do just 1.1 here today. Do 1.2 when you come in next time. Okay. All right, here's our first picture. We have a cube on this one. Remember, the dotted lines are lines that are in the back of the figure. So the things that would be on the front would be like E, A, B, and F. Things in the back would be G, H, D, and C. They want us to name, gave the answers already. They want us to name 3 non-collinear points. And then it wants us to remember non-collinear points, they are not on the same line. So like I said earlier, if you put a ruler down, those points would not line up. You couldn't put a ruler through all 3 of these points. So there are several different correct answers up here. Anybody brave enough to give us one? 3 points that are not on the same line. Hudson.
A, B, and G.
A, B, and G, that would work. Oh, I did it again. Here's point A down on the bottom. Here's point B. And then point G is way up here. There's no way you could put a straight line that goes through all 3 of those. Anybody want to give us another one? Nora?
E, D, and F.
E, D, and F. Yeah. Here's E, here's D down here, and then F is back up here. No way you could put a straight line through all 3 of those. Okay, there's actually several different answers, so I'm going to go to that next screen. Here's all the different correct answers that you could put together. In fact, in this picture, any 3 points that you want to put together would be non-collinear. There's no way you could draw a straight line through any 3 of those points up there, no matter which ones you pick. All right, let's try another one of those. Oh, actually, we're gonna go to coplanar now. Are there any questions with no, non-collinear or collinear? Okay, now we're gonna go to coplanar. Coplanar, remember that means they're on the same plane, the same flat surface. We want to pick a point that's coplanar to ADH, plane ADH. So first thing I want to do is figure out where plane ADH is. Here's point A, here's point D, here's point H up here. So we're looking at this plane, this flat surface that's kind of on the left-hand figure, kind of the back left of our figure. There's one point on there that's going to be coplanar to those. We pick it up. Trevor, I think that's how you say it.
DCP.
No, which one? One point. One point that's on the same plane as ADH. E, yep, E right up here is on the same plane. They're all fitting in on this little square right here. That makes them coplanar. E is our answer. We're gonna do another one of those. Same thing, find a point coplanar to plane ADC. ADC, here's point A, here's point D, here's point C. So we're looking at the bottom of the figure. Pick out that point, Owen.
B.
B, yep. A, D, C, those are all on the bottom, so is point B. Those make the bottom plane now. All right. One more. I'm gonna name a point coplanar to CGH. So first thing you want to do is figure out where CGH is. Here's point C, here's point G, here's point H. So we're looking at this back, kind of the back plane on the figure. Anybody figure out what point is coplanar to C, G, and H? Hunter. D. Yep. Here's H, here's G, here's C. They're all on the back. So is point D. Those four form this back plane. All right. Oh, don't go there yet. All right. Any questions on coplanar? How many think it's easy so far? Okay, that's a good sign. All right, our last ones here. We're going to name the intersection of some things. So the first thing they want is the intersection of two planes. You got plane ABC, plane GFB. If you go back to our little vocabulary document, two planes, when they intersect, what do they always form? Two planes intersect, what do they always form? It's on the screen for you here. Owen?
An intersection?
Yes, what is the intersection going to be? You're
Oh,
correct.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Hudson,
Is it B and C? That's the intersection.
okay. You're getting ahead of us here, but what is B and C when you say that? What kind of figure is B and C that you're talking about?
Oh,
It's a straight line. Your intersection of two planes will always be a straight line.
Oh.
Okay, so
Sweet.
Hunter got a little bit ahead of us here, but we'll show you where he got his answer from.
That's
ABC, or Hudson, sorry. ABC is the bottom plane. That's what this figure sits on. GFB is over here. There's G, there's F, there's B. That's the right-hand side. So we want to see where the bottom and the right-hand side intersect. When the bottom comes across and hits the right-hand side that comes down, they touch right here from B through C. So your intersection would be line BC. When I go to name line BC, I'm going to put the two letters next to each other, B and C. What's the symbol that's going to go above it? Line with what? Line with the arrows. Just like this. There's B and C. You got your line on top with the arrows. Now, here's a question for you. We call it line BC. Would line CB be the exact same thing? Here's line BC. Right here. I'll call it line CB. That's this line right here. Yeah. It's the exact same thing. Okay, so the order you put the letters is not important. You could have them in a different order there. You just got to have those two letters with the symbol above. All right, I think this is our last one. They want the intersection of HGC, plane HGC, and plane EAD. Once again, two planes intersecting, their intersection is going to be a line. We want to figure out what that line is. So plane HGC is here. Let's see, those 3 points form this back plane. And then EAD is over here on the left. D forms this left hand plane. So in your head, don't say it out loud. Hope you can see that. figure out if you can tell where this left-hand plane and the backhand plane intersect. Okay, we got some people with answers now. Colson, what do you think?
DH.
DH is correct. The left-hand plane is here, back plane is here. They intersect right here from D through H. You can call it line DH or line HD. The way is fine. Just make sure you get the symbol above there with the arrows. Yep, that's it for today. Okay, that's section 1. Any questions with anything we did there? Okay. I have a worksheet I'm going to give to you here. What it looks like. I would keep that Chromebook out while you do the homework because you may want to look back to that for symbols or, maybe definitions, that type of thing.